Oh, it was so great to see the Brewers score early and often on Tuesday night and win the opener in a rocking chair win in Atlanta. We'll get to all that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Man, those games are just so fun to win, aren't they? They go in Atlanta when things look a little rough for the team, having dropped 6 of 9, and they coast to an easy win over one of the best teams in the National League, the Braves. How you doing, everybody? Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Chuck Freeman, longtime sportscaster here in the state of Wisconsin, proud host of Locked On Brewers. We're right around 50 games left in the season. The Brewers we as fans, here we are in August. And if you're a lifelong Brewer fan like I am, until recent years, there haven't been too many Augusts. Is that even a word? Too many month of August that have not mattered, where the Brewers are playing spoiler, where they've made their trades already and they're just playing out the string. And we're talking about September call-ups. And this Milwaukee Brewer team right here, we kind of were worried about that. I'm not saying a 10-0 win means that we should just think that all their worries are behind them. But sure, it makes things a lot better. It makes you feel like, all right, you got a victory like that. Yeah, you can play baseball. You know how to, because sometimes you get into a rut and you're wondering, man, when is this team going to start hitting? When are they going to be able to put it all together? They put it all together on Tuesday night in that victory. I want to tell you this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use lowercase LockedOnMLB for that first deposit match up to $100. I'll tell you a little bit later on in the show all the ways you get our podcast. I appreciate all you guys out there for making Locked On Brewers your first listen to every day. We are the number one Brewers podcast on the internet because you great Brewers fans out there. But how about that? Willy Adames hits 2 tape measure home runs, a pair of 2-run shots in his first 2 at-bats. He homers, and the Brewers get out to a 6-0 lead after 3. And yeah, I'm telling you, I felt great at that point. And you could say, who was the MVP? Was it Adames getting him off to that great start? Or is it our guy, Colin Rea, who just continues to go out and pitch outing after outing and just be a stud in that starting rotation? We'll get to him coming up here in a little bit. But yeah, the rocking chair victory we were looking for this team. Now, the Braves got shut out at home on Sunday against Miami, and that's kind of out of the ordinary right there. It was kind of I saw the scoreboard on Sunday. I'm like, all right, the Marlins beating the Brewers 7-0, beating the Braves 7-0. That was kind of strange. Not, by any means unpredictable, but it just was kind of eye-popping, I'd say. But then the Brewers come back after the day off, and then they give the Braves another shutout loss at home. I mean, just a convincing victory, man. If ever there was a win this season, and I don't want to say, well, it's a huge win, it's a big win. They're all important wins. But yeah, the way things have been going, they had the day off. I've told you that they've dropped 6 of their last 8 series since 4th of July weekend. To start off in Atlanta on this road trip, 4th game of the road trip, and come away with a win, I thought it was huge. I really did. And now you just got to win one of the final 2 games in Atlanta, and you've taken 2 or 3 from them. But you remember last week, the Brewers won the opener against the Braves at AmFam Field and lost the next 2. But I'm not going to go down that road. But Willy Adames, talk about Willy here for a second. When Willy has nights like he did on Tuesday night, goes 4 for 5, and the ball coming to the plate was like a beach ball. I mean, that's how big it was for Willy, because he was hitting everything. It was one of those nights for Willy. Yeah, and those 2 tape measure home runs, those are 430, 445 foot home runs. Just clobbered those. Just crushed them. Got to the Braves starter, and that was it right there. But I just thought getting on that 3 spot in the first inning set the tone. kind of eased Colin Rea into the game, and Rea was able to take it from there. But again, when you see Adames have nights like that, there are some nights, let's face it, with Adames, we're like, oh God, we get frustrated at him. And then there's Adames when he's got the clutch gene, whether it's hitting a 3-run home run late and flipping a ball game, or what he did last night. He hits the 2-run blast early in the first inning, and then hits another 2-run blast in the third inning, and that bumped it up from 4-0 to 6-0. And I felt great with Colin Rea on the hill. But Adames, when he does have those nights, you think, God, I'd sure like to keep him for $200 million. I'm going to miss him because, the things that he brings to this table. And we talked about the clubhouse stuff and the dumping the Gatorade bucket on the player of the game when he's being interviewed by Sophia at AmFam Field, and all that. That's all fun. That's all part of team camaraderie, I guess. But when he has nights like that, like last night, you say, man, that's going to be tough to replace at shortstop. If you could see more consistency out of that, he's about 250 he's hitting on the year. He's got 19 homers right now. He's well on his way to, I would say, 32 homers. That's not bad. You hit me 250, 32 home runs, and play a Gold Glove type shortstop. Yeah, you're going to outprice yourself in a place like Milwaukee. It's a shame. That's the way the system is. Yeah, would I like to keep Willie? Of course I would. And people out there will say, well, is Ortiz going to move to short? Ortiz is no for sure thing. He's done a lot of stuff early, at a base hit on Tuesday night. And we touted him for being on the All-Star team earlier this year, a couple of months ago, like late June. But he's still got a lot to prove. Move Terang over to shortstop. I think Terang has proven himself defensively. Offensively, I like where he's at right now. I was hitting better earlier in the season. So who is going to be my starting shortstop next year? I don't know. Somebody asked me that on Twitter last week. Somebody came up to me at AmFam Field a week ago Sunday and said they love the podcast and all. And Chuck, what happens when Willie leaves? Who's going to play shortstop? I said, that is a great topic for Locked On Brewers. I don't know what the Brewers' plan is going to be. Is it going to be Willie when he leaves? Is it going to be Terang? Is it going to be Ortiz? They're not re-signing Willie. But when he has nights like last night, I said, man, I'd love to have Willie back, but I ain't paying him $20, $25 million or whatever the market is going to boat out for Willie. Whatever he gets, he deserves it. He deserves it. And, Willie last year I thought was a disappointing season. He's not having a disappointing season this year. Yeah. Would we like to see him do more things, more clutch moments, even more clutch moments than he has? Yes. He's come up big late in games. And I know a lot of Brewer fans get frustrated in the strikeouts and all that. But yeah, if I could get Willie on my team, of course, but I'm not, $25 million. The Brewers aren't just going to go there. 2020, they're not going to go there for Willy Adames. They just aren't. Somebody will, though. And he might get more than $25 million. Who knows? He's got 6 weeks left of the regular season. And, if the Brewers, as we think, they're going to get to the postseason, we'll see what he does there. But Willy Adames, 2 home runs, 4 for 5, 19 home runs on the year. A great night for Willie. Lineup on Tuesday night. That dreaded 3-hole. I talked about this on the podcast 2 nights ago. Garrett Mitchell was in the 3-hole. He's hitting well. Took an 0 for 5 on Tuesday night. But, man, we're just plugging into that 3-hole, just trying to find someone who will fill the bill on that in that 3-hole spot. I'm telling you, that's going to be the detriment of this team. It won't be pitching. It won't be the bullpen. It'll be the Brewers lacked a big bat in the heart of their order. We come back. We'll talk about Colin Rea's performance. And how does that starting rotation look? If they go in a tight schedule, if things get tight in September, I don't want a 5-man rotation. We'll get to all that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers. Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Thank you, everybody, all you everydayers, for joining us each and every day here on Locked On Brewers. You get us on Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you download your podcast. We are there. You know, this is for all you YouTubers out there. You're seeing us on YouTube. You get us on the audio platform, Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you download your podcast. Please bookmark us. Just highlight us however you want to on your platform, that you are alerted each time we drop an episode, which is in the middle of the night. I assume everybody's got their phone off when that alarm goes off or that alert hits. But so that podcast is there waiting for you in the morning on your drive to work or wherever. Please always hit the alert wherever you download your podcast. And of course on YouTube, hit subscribe. Search Locked On Brewers. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell. That'll alert you every time we drop an episode here on Locked On Brewers. It's all free. Content is all free. And of course, please follow me on Twitter, Chuck Freeman, Freimund. It is right there if you're watching me on YouTube. That script, Chuck Freeman, Freimund. PrizePicks. Told you a little about them a little earlier here in the show. They're America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Over 5 million active members. The easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, on PrizePicks, you against the numbers. Not all that confusion. It's just you against the numbers. That's all it is. Easy to do. All you do is pick more or less 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch those winnings roll right in. Get in on all the daily action. Let's say you like Adames to homer again. You probably get some pretty good odds on Wednesday night. Couple him with a few, and you can win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into 1,000. But you got to download that PrizePicks app today. Download it. Use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. And that first deposit match, when you use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB, it's $100. PrizePicks deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with PrizePicks. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day, 6:20, with a broadcast coming up on Wednesday night. You get it on Sirius XM, the SXM app. Search Brewers. You get all 162, the home team broadcast on Sirius XM. All right, Colin Rea. Is Colin Rea the ace of the staff? I feel like when anybody mid-season, if there's an ace on the staff, a so-called #1, and somebody else is off to a better start or is having a better season, that person is the ace of the staff. Well, I don't care who it is, but Colin Rea certainly pitching like that. Jack Stern, who we had on the other night, tweeted out last 7 outings, Colin Rea's got a 2.90 earned run average. That's ace stuff to me. He's been sitting on 9 wins for a while, got his 10th. He's got a few no decisions there, but he pitched well in a lot of those, including last Monday. He got a no decision against the Braves because the Brewers' bats came alive a little bit later on. I believe that's gave it Colin Rea only went 5 innings, a high pitch count there, gave up a couple of early home runs. But on Tuesday night, 7 innings, 5 hits, 9 strikeouts. Colin Rea, 10-3. 10-3. Pitching like an ace. A guy, 34 years old, journeyman. And where would the Brewers be without Colin Rea and what he's doing? Last year and this year, up and down a few years between Nashville and Milwaukee. And this year, he earned his spot in spring training. There were some injuries, but he made the most of it. Got his start here, saw an opportunity, and he's made the most of it, contributing to a winning baseball team. 10-3 so far on the season. And like I said, as Jack Stearns tweeted out, a 2.90 earned run average in his last 7 outings. So if the postseason, or if it got tight in September, who are the starting pitchers I can count on? I can tell you this. Peralta's at the top. Colin Rea, I want 1, 2. If that's a postseason, I want them starting games 1 and games 2. 3 is a toss-up between Montes and Myers. I think Myers has earned it. I got to see a little bit more of Montes pitch. Because he pitched last Friday and against Washington, got great run support, and I thought that kind of overshadowed a mediocre performance from Montes. So his first outing, we'll see how outing number 2 goes when he pitches on Thursday in the afternoon game in Atlanta. So if I'm in the postseason, okay, I want Peralta pitching game 1, Rea pitching 2, and Myers or Montes. Right now it's Myers. A little worrisome the other night when they didn't trust him to go through the 3rd time in the order, but I'm still sticking with Myers. Until Montes proves me differently, Myers is my number 3 starter, and Montes is my 4. But, in the postseason, I don't like using 4 starters. In the postseason, I want to flip it back over to the top to Peralta and Rea right away. I don't like using 4 starters. Ross, saw him in mop-up duty. That's perfect for me. Pitching at the end of the game, finishing it off at a 10-0 game. Hey, I like Joe Ross. You could suck up 2 innings at the end, and we're good. 10-run lead. That's where I am with Joe Ross. They talked about this a little bit on the broadcast. Well, Ross would come in. He's the 6th starter on this team. Well, yeah. I don't know if I'd even put him as the 6th starter. I don't know if I trust Ross starting. I wouldn't want him pitching in important innings in a postseason game or in September. Mop-up duty, fine. I trust Bryce Wilson, okay, right now in important roles, long relief in a tight game such as that, but not him at this point. So here's my rotation. I'm going with Peralta, Rea, Myers, and Montes. And that's it. If I have to go to a 4-man, I'd go to a 4-man in September until I find out I can't catch the Dodgers anymore, or until I clinch this division. We almost like to take the division for granted at this point, and I get that. Right now, the division, the Brewers they were 6 ahead going in, and St. Louis won, so they're still 6 ahead. Pittsburgh got beat. Pittsburgh 6.5. Like I've always told you, I don't count the Pirates at all. So 6 games up. St. Louis still within range, and of course the Brewers got to go there later on this month and play in St. Louis. But not a bad 3-man, and the bullpen is fine. The bullpen, I some of those guys I don't want to see. I'm nervous right now with Pagero and Piamps out of the pen. We got some encouraging news with McGill coming off the injury list that I'm going to get to you in a little bit. Maybe DL Hall. Well, DL Hall hasn't turned any of my trust. We'll give you an update on that. And Brian Hudson, another guy we'll talk about here coming up a little bit. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Always great talking to you guys, the great Brewer fans, getting us here on Locked On Brewers, making us the number 1 podcast on the Brewers internet. Well, when you're watching the game, you like to hydrate. It's warm outside. Well, it's a little cool out today, but in August, how August usually gets in Wisconsin. It's hot and humid. And don't forget to hydrate with Liquid 4's Popsicle Firecracker flavor, a surefire summer hit. Hey, you don't want to put junk in your body, but with Liquid 4, you don't have that. You have electrolytes. You get hydrated with electrolytes, essential vitamins, all the clinically tested nutrients you need from the number 1 powdered hydration brand in America. Baseball and summer go together like Liquid 4 and hydration. We need hydration. Hey, we're on the golf course and all that. We need it. You come inside, you fire up one of those Liquid 4 Popsicle Firecracker flavors. It is going to go down good. And right now, you can get at liquid4.com. Use the promo code MLB. You get 20% off your first order when you shop for better hydration today using that promo code MLB at liquid4.com. I've tried these things, guys. They're great. They're great tasting, and you're not putting junk in your mouth. You're not wasting calories or whatever, empty calories, electrolytes in there. They're going to replenish your system. I run in the summer, try to run around the track 3 times a week. And I'm telling you, this will help replenish you. And plus they got 4 essential B vitamins, an excellent source of vitamin C as well. But pop them in during the summer, especially here in August. Liquid 4 Popsicle Firecracker flavor, a surefire summer hit. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Always great talking to the great Brewer fans out there. some of your comments. I want to read some because Twitter, it was fired up today. And so on YouTube, there's a comment section on YouTube. And please, which I read your comments every day. And I want to take a little time out to read some of these comments that you guys put on here and maybe comment. Chase Leopold says, the Brewers don't take any chances doing anything. Can't wait for Adames to be gone from this team. Well, he wrote this before Adames went 4 for 5 with 2 bombs. No risk, no reward. Maybe you should, let's see here. We need to get the resources to upgrade this team. Wish he would sell so we could have another owner who really wants to win. He wants to win. There's no doubt about that. I know some of you guys get upset. No PNG says, have some faith, dudes. I, for one, have an appreciation for Willy Adames, who beyond a doubt is the soul, the heart and soul of this team. The real stat from this season, says Dubs 1975, says when Bauer has more than one at bat, the Brewers are 41-14. When Bauer has one at bat or less, they are 21-35. So in other words, when Bauer plays, the Brewers win. Might just be a coincidence on that. Nothing against Bauers. But I saw, by the way, the Brewers, I added this up. Guess how many pitchers the Brewers have used this year? Speaking of Bauers, because he's pitched some mop-up duty in a blowout game. The Brewers have used 34 pitchers this year. That's incredible. I got to look at some of the other teams. But I know they've started 17 different guys. But this 34 pitchers, some of these guys aren't on the roster anymore. They're not on the 40-man. They're pitching on other teams. And includes guys like Bauers, who has had to come up and mop up duty and blow out victories or losses. So 34 pitchers the Brewers have used this year. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right. Let's give you a couple of things here. DL Hall had his rehab assignment. He continues to have his rehab assignment down in Nashville. 4 innings pitched, 2 hits. It sounds like DL Hall's been down there for like 4 months. I mean, he's about ready to take up residency in Nashville. DL Hall, it's about time. Either DL Hall's going to pitch for the Brewers this time soon, or he's not going to do it. I mean, how many rehab starts does he need? I feel like he's had like 15 of those. DL Hall, 4 innings, 2 hits. I have a hunch that might be his last one. We'll see. Trevor McGill on the IL. He's going to have a bullpen session either Wednesday or Thursday in Atlanta. We'll see how that goes. Hudson, he did have 1 session down at Nashville, and he's continuing his rehab. He's supposed to pitch again for Nashville as he continues his rehab. It sounds like things are going well with Brian Hudson in his rehab process as well. I saw this on Twitter tonight. I thought it was pretty cool. From Brew Crew Scoop. Brew Crew Scoop on Twitter. Brew Crew Scoop said something to the fact that, what team were you most confident in? 2019, 2021, 2023, or 2024? That was a cool poll. And what team were you most confident in? For me, it was 2021. The early returns, he just put this, Brew Crew Scoop just put this out there. 2024 had the early lead. What team are you most confident in? 2019, 2021, 2023, or 2024? I had to say 2021, the team that lost to the Braves. I had high hopes for them. When they got Adames, they really took off, and I really had high. And 19 too, when they finished strong in September. Remember that, when they finished strong in September? I thought, Yelich did get hurt, but they had such a great September to get that wild card, and then they laid an egg in that 1-game wild card in Washington. Back when the rules were play 1 wild card game, you're done. That was so dumb. Sure glad they changed that rule. All right. That's going to do it for Locked On Brewers. Again, you get our podcast on Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you download your podcast, we are there. Please hit the alert on all those. Go to YouTube, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That alerts you every time we drop an episode on Locked On Brewers, and it's all free. I appreciate, man, all your comments and everything you got to say. I love reading them every day, whether you write me on YouTube, and some of you guys go back and forth, and it's all good, or Twitter. if you feel more comfortable DMing me, feel free to DM me, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. You're always welcome to do that. We're in this Brewers community together, trying to pull our team through, getting a division title, and perhaps catching the Dodgers and the Phillies along the way. I know that's a pipe dream of mine, but who knows? And of course, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day, all you everydayers out there. And thanks for making us your first listen to every day. When you get up in the morning, when you're driving to work, when you're picking up the kids from school, whatever it is, whatever shift you work or whatever, thank you. Thank you so much for following me along here on this journey through the 2024 season. I'm not going to call it the 2024 championship season like my buddy Tim Allen does, but you get the point. For your second listen on Locked On, go to Locked On MLB. My guy Sully's got that. Gives you all the news each and every day from all the MLB stuff. Anywhere. He's got guests on. Real good show. Locked On MLB with Sully. That's going to do it for me. Chuck Freeman. Have yourself a great Wednesday, everybody.